Hi, welcome to another edition of Bauer Business Bites. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And each week we take a look at an area of business that is of interest. This week we speak to Sinead Campbell, who's the Head of Money, Debt and Quality at Advice N. Sinead, welcome to Business Bites.
Hiya, how are you?
Very well, it's great to have you along. Let's get straight into the conversation. You have a job title of Head of Money, Debt and Quality at Advice NI. So I suppose the first question is, tell us a bit about Advice NI, what it's there to do and how it can help us. And tell us a little bit about your role, and then we can get into a bit more detail.
Oh, thank you. Advice NI is the regional membership organisation for Northern Ireland. And we have about 70 members across Northern Ireland. And together we make up the Independent Advice Network. We provide leadership and support to make sure that people have access to free, confidential and impartial advice services across the whole of Northern Ireland. Last year alone, we dealt with nearly 500,000 queries from people. And our services cover money, personal and business debt, benefits, and our members also provide support in and around housing, consumer and immigration.
Right. So if we look at the last 12 months, the word debt probably is going to be one of those words that I would have said has cropped up probably more than perhaps in the past couple of years. It's not something that people very easily want to admit to, is it? That they've got a problem. So what's your advice and how do you deal with it? So let's just say I've got an issue and I don't really want to go there, but I eventually do and come to you. How's that journey going to look for me?
Well, I suppose one of the biggest things that we want to get across is we do not judge anybody. We have been doing debt advice for nearly 15 years now, so we have heard and seen it all. Everybody is treated the same. The advisors go through rigorous training. Whenever somebody comes into our service, we will go through a financial statement, which is basically people's income and outgoings, and then we will provide options. And it's the same for businesses. We also provide support for small to medium enterprises where maybe they don't have access to accountants or solicitors or legal advice. They can come to us and we will go through the same procedures. We will give options. We can talk through the likes of getting in proper credit processes, going through cash flow, and looking at all the different options that are out there for people and businesses. The real message I would like to give across today is, if you are struggling, please don't think that advice services are not for you. It's better to come early than not at all, because there are more and more options available the earlier you come. I was at a conference a few years ago and I heard people are more open to talk about suicide than they are debt. And we don't want that. We have a raft of services and options there for you. We are across the whole of Northern Ireland. You can ring our helpline, which you can remain anonymous and just ask for advice, or you can be taken right through to a solution. It's free. It is confidential. It doesn't go anywhere. So the message would be come early.
Yeah, and I suppose there's more chance of being able to solve the issues before they've managed to build up into something that's a lot bigger. What kind of things have you been dealing with in the last 12 months that perhaps hadn't been there before?
Well, that's the thing. In the last 12 months, I think everybody has been in a bit of a bubble because there's been so much government and financial support packages put out there, and they are still continuing on now. So people coming to our service, we're seeing the same issues as what we've seen before. We haven't, I think, realised what's going to come down the line whenever sort of COVID is over and the support packages finish. People get in debt for a number of reasons. Being overcommitted, having no savings, low income. The one thing I would say is that we are seeing more people who just don't know what is going to happen in the future. There's a lot of uncertainty out there at the minute. So people are ringing just to see what potentially they could do in the future. And it might be that they will re-engage with us once things come to fruition. When you think about it, we have still nearly 100,000 people on furlough. And according to some reports, 25% of those may not go back into employment. So that is scary. What we have seen is people are starting to pay down their debts. They're cutting back on expenses. We've also seen an increase in addictions and mental health and relationship breakdown. So those are the type of issues that are coming across, and the advisors are saying, some of the advice is a wee bit more complex because of the uncertainty around the future with clients and business.
Yeah, it's very difficult, I imagine, for everybody at the minute. I suppose if you had a message for the people that are making the rules, would clarity, as much clarity as possible, be in that message?
I think, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things coming down is obviously creditors and how they're going to deal with collections going forward. So really, everybody's just standing back to see what happens. At the minute, the creditors are being very good, and they're working with us, and they're working with people who have the debt with them, which is excellent. But yeah, absolutely, it's going forward, it would have to be, make sure it's clear, make sure that there's support packages out there. People are going to be more vulnerable than ever. There's a lot of stuff out there for vulnerable groups. Come and get advice, promote our services. We're free. We're across the whole of Northern Ireland. We have centres in all cities and towns in Northern Ireland through our membership. So there are services there. So I think a joined up approach to this would be really good.
And I suppose looking to the future, you've just mentioned there that there's still questions that have yet to be answered. If I'm sitting here at the minute, we're probably operating in a world that isn't quite real. Would that be fair to say right now, in terms of the amount of support and packages that are around? It's not kind of the real way of life at this point in time, and sooner or later that's gonna come to an end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year we virtually very little mortgage debts because there's been packages out there. People are on furlough. They might not go back into a job again, which means they're going to lose that income. So everything is sitting in a bubble of uncertainty. And unfortunately, until that starts to roll out, we'll not see the full extent of COVID. I'd say probably to the end of this year, start of next year, unless the government decides to put in more sort of softer packages, support packages going forward. But yeah, there's just so much uncertainty around at the minute.
So I suppose finally, if someone's watching this interview and in the back of their head they know that they're in trouble, what is your honest advice? What's the phone number, and what would you've seen it, so tell us, tell that person now what they need to do.
Well, what I would say is don't delay. Please don't delay. Lift the phone. You can call us on 0800 915 4604. We understand how hard it is to make that first call, but our advisors are all there for you. We're here to get you out of debt, to free your future, and to move forward. We're not interested in how you get into debt or what happened. We just want to work with you to get a way forward.
Well, Sinead and the team there at Advice NI, you're doing a great job and really helping everybody out here in Northern Ireland, and more power to your elbows into the future. Thank you for being our guest this week, and continued success to you and your colleagues.
Thank you.